32. Samantagambhirasrivimalaprabha. At that time, Sudana the youth completely understood with regard to the night spirit Vasanti's initial resolve to attain Bodhi, the Bodhisattva treasury she had produced, the Bodhisattva vows she had made, the Bodhisattva perfections she had purified, the Bodhisattva grounds she had entered, the Bodhisattva practices she had cultivated, the path of emancipation she had traveled, her luminous ocean of all knowledge, her resolve to rescue all beings, her universally pervasive cloud of great compassion, and her ability to forever manifest the conduct and vows of Samantabhadra in all Buddhakshetras until the very end of future time. He gradually traveled along until he met that night spirit, Samantagambhirasrivimalaprabha, or pure light of universal virtue, whereupon he bowed down in reverence at her feet and circumambulated her countless times. He then stood before her with palms pressed together and spoke these words: O Arya, I am one who has already resolved to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Still, I do not yet know just how a bodhisattva should cultivate the bodhisattva grounds, how he should produce the bodhisattva grounds, or how he should perfect the bodhisattva grounds. The night spirit then replied by saying, It is good indeed, son of good family, that you have already been able to resolve to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, and now also ask about the cultivation, generation, and perfection of the bodhisattva grounds. Son of good family, the bodhisattva perfects 10 types of dharmas by which he is able to perfectly fulfill the bodhisattva practices. What then are those 10? They are as follows. First, he acquires pure samadhis by which he always sees all Buddhas. Second, he acquires the pure eyes by which he always contemplates all Buddha's adornment with the major marks and secondary signs. Third, he knows the ocean of all Tathagata's measureless and boundless meritorious qualities. Fourth, he knows the countless Buddha's ocean of Dharma light commensurate with the Dharma realm. Fifth, he knows that all Tathagatas emit from every one of their pores an immense ocean of light rays as numerous as all beings, rays that then flow forth to benefit all the countless beings. Sixth, he sees all Tathagatas sending forth from every one of their pores an ocean of flaming light with the colors of all jewels. Seventh, in every mind moment, he manifests an ocean of all Buddha's transformations that completely fills the Dharma realm and ultimately fathoms the realm of all Buddhas and their training of beings. Eighth, he acquires the voice of the Buddha that speaks the ocean of all beings' languages and turns the Dharma wheel of all Buddhas of the 3 periods of time. Ninth, he knows the ocean of all Buddha's countless names. And 10th, he knows all Buddha's inconceivable powers of sovereign mastery in training beings. Son of good family, if the bodhisattva perfects these 10 kinds of dharmas, he will be able to completely fulfill all bodhisattva practices. Son of good family, I have acquired a bodhisattva liberation known as roaming everywhere in the bliss of quiescent dhyana absorption, with which I everywhere see all Buddhas of the 3 periods of time, and also see all the many different variations in those Buddhas' pure lands, sites of enlightenment, congregations, spiritual superknowledges, names, discourses on Dharma, lifespans, languages, and physical marks, all of which I clearly observe while remaining free of any attachment to them. And how is this so? This is because I realize with regard to all Tathagatas, they go nowhere because their migration in the world has been forever extinguished. They come from nowhere because their essential nature has no arising. They have no arising because they are identical with the Dharma body. They have no extinction because they have no characteristics of arising. They have no reality because they abide in the dharma of the illusory nature of all things. They are not false because they benefit beings. They do not move at all because they have gone beyond birth and death. They do not perish because their nature is one of eternal absence of any transformations. They have one sign that lies entirely beyond the reach of any verbal description, and they are signless because of the fundamental emptiness of their nature and signs. Son of good family, when in this way I entirely know all Tathagatas, I clearly and completely comprehend, perfect, develop, meditatively reflect upon, stabilize, and adorn this Bodhisattva's liberation gateway of roaming everywhere in the bliss of quiescent dhyana absorption, not giving rise to any discursive thinking or discriminations, to use the great compassion to rescue all beings and achieve single-minded stillness, I cultivate the first dhyana. To put to rest all mental activity, to attract all beings, to manifest the courageous application of the power of wisdom, and to develop a mind of joyous contentment, I cultivate the second dhyana. To meditate on the inherent nature of all beings and renounce samsara, I cultivate the third dhyana. To be able to entirely extinguish all beings' many sufferings and feverish afflictions, I cultivate the fourth dhyana. I nurture and bring to fulfillment the vow to attain all knowledge, bring forth the ocean of all samadhis, enter the gateway of all bodhisattvas' ocean of liberations, achieve easeful mastery of all spiritual superknowledges, perfect all miraculous transformations, and use pure wisdom to everywhere enter the Dharma realm. Son of good family, when I cultivate this liberation, I use all different kinds of skillful means to ripen beings. For instance, for neglectful beings living as householders, I cause them to bring forth the reflection on unloveliness, the reflection on renunciation, the reflection on wearisomeness, the reflection on oppressiveness, the reflection on bondage, the reflection on Rakshasi she-demons, the reflection on impermanence, the reflection on suffering, the reflection on non-self, the reflection on emptiness, the reflection on non-production, the reflection on the absence of inherent existence, and the reflection on aging, sickness, and death. They then naturally refrain from producing pleasure-driven attachments to the 5 objects of sensual pleasure. I also exhort beings to refrain from attachments to sensual pleasures, to dwell solely in Dharma bliss, to leave behind the householder's life, and to enter into the homeless state. Where there are beings dwelling at leisure in a vacant place, I assist them by causing the cessation of all disturbing noises. In the quiet of the night, I teach them profound dharma. I provide them with conditions conducive to practicing. I open the gateway to leaving behind the household life. I show them the right path. I create a light for them. I dispel all their darkness-induced obstacles. I extinguish their fears. I praise the act of leaving behind the householder's life. I praise the meritorious qualities possessed by the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, and the good spiritual guides. I also praise the practice of drawing near to good spiritual guides. Further, son of good family, when I cultivate this liberation, I enable beings to refrain from bringing forth desires contrary to the Dharma, to refrain from generating wrong discriminations, and to not commit any karmic transgressions. If they have already committed them, I cause them to stop all of them. If they have not yet produced the good dharmas, have not yet cultivated the practice of the paramitas, have not yet begun the quest for all knowledge, have not yet developed the great kindness and compassion, or have not yet engaged in the karmic actions resulting in birth among humans or devas, in all such cases, I induce them to engage in these actions. If they have already begun practicing them, I enable them to increase them. So it is that I bestow such path-facilitating causes and conditions on them, even to the point that I may eventually cause them to acquire the wisdom of all knowledge. Son of good family, I have acquired only this bodhisattva liberation gateway of roaming everywhere in the bliss of quiescent jhana absorption. As for the bodhisattva mahasattvas who have completely acquired all of Samantabhadra's practices and vows, who possess a complete comprehension of the entire boundless Dharma realm, who are ever able to increase all roots of goodness, who illuminate and perceive the 10 powers of all Tathagatas, who abide in all Tathagatas' spheres of cognition, who constantly abide in samsara with unimpeded minds, who are able to swiftly fulfill their vow to attain all knowledge, who are everywhere able to travel and pay their respects in all worlds, who are able to contemplate and see all Buddhas, who are everywhere able to listen to and take on the Dharma of all Buddhas, who are able to dispel all beings' darkness of delusion, and who are able in the great night of samsara to manifest the light of all knowledge. How could I know of or be able to speak about their meritorious qualities and practices? Son of good family, not far from here, off to the right of the site of enlightenment, there is a night spirit known as Pramudita Dhyana Jagat Virachana, or observing beings with delighted eyes. You should go there, pay your respects, and ask her, how should the bodhisattva train in the bodhisattva practices, and how should he cultivate the bodhisattva path? Then the night spirit Samantagambhirasrivimalaprabha, wishing to once again proclaim the meaning of this liberation, spoke these verses for Sudana the youth. Those who possess the mind of resolute faith may see all Buddhas of the 3 periods of time. Once the eyes of those people have thus become purified, they become able to enter the ocean of all Buddhas. You should contemplate the bodies of all Buddhas adorned with their pure characteristic signs, as well as the power of their spiritual superknowledges that, in but a single mind moment, fill the entire Dharma realm. In the sight of enlightenment, Vairocana Tathagata has realized the right enlightenment, and, throughout the entire Dharma realm, turns the wheel of the pure Dharma. The Tathagata knows the nature of dharmas as quiescent and non-dual. His pure body, adorned with the characteristic signs, is everywhere revealed in all worlds. The inconceivable body of the Buddha fills the entire Dharma realm. It everywhere appears in all kshetras, so that there are none in which it is not seen. The ever-radiant light rays emitted by the Buddha's body are equal in number to the atoms in all kshetras. Their many different pure colors pervade the Dharma realm in each successive mind moment. A single pore of the Tathagata streams forth an inconceivable number of light rays that everywhere illuminate all beings and cause their afflictions to be extinguished. A single pore of the Tathagata sends forth endless transformations that completely pervade the Dharma realm and extinguish the sufferings of beings. The Buddha expounds with one marvelous voice that adapts to all types of beings and causes them all to understand. It everywhere sends down the vast rain of Dharma and causes them to resolve to attain Bodhi. In the past, when cultivating the practices, the Buddha had already attracted and accepted me. As a consequence, I was able to see the Tathagata manifesting everywhere in all kshetras. Buddhas appear in the world on a scale commensurate with the number of beings. Their many different spheres of liberation are not such as I am able to know. All bodhisattvas enter into but a single pore of the Buddha's body. Such marvelous liberations as these are not such as I am able to know. Near here, there is a night spirit by the name of Observing with Delighted Eyes. You should go and pay your respects to her, and then ask her how to cultivate the bodhisattva practices. At that time, Suddhana the youth bowed down in reverence at her feet and circumambulated her countless times as he gazed up at her in attentive admiration. He then respectfully withdrew and departed.